ever had this happen? You accept a connection request on LinkedIn, and within seconds, you get a message that says, "Hey, I'm Alex from Acme Insurance. We have a long trajectory in the market and provide top products. You'll be receiving emails with relevant content. If you don't see them, check your spam folder." That actually happened to me recently, and all I could think was, this person just admitted they're about to spam me. They even told me to check my junk folder because they know that's where their unsolicited sales pitch belongs. Today, we're going to talk about how and when to ask for the sale, and more importantly, how not to approach potential clients. By the end of this episode, you'll have a clear understanding of how to initiate meaningful conversations that can eventually lead to sales without being that person whose messages end up in junk. Let's be clear about one fundamental truth. Business is about solving problems. If you don't even know me, how can you possibly show up with a solution if you don't understand my problem? I see this mistake everywhere. People approach potential clients with a sales pitch right out of the gate. They connect on LinkedIn immediately. They want to try to sell their product or services. They even send cold emails with pricing packages. They jump straight to "let me tell you about what I offer," without taking even a minute to understand who they're talking to. This approach screams one thing: I don't care about you, I care about me, about selling my product, and about making more money for me. Think about how this feels on the receiving end. You're busy, you're juggling multiple priorities, and someone reaches out with a generic pitch that has nothing to do with your current challenges or needs. It's almost insulting, as if they believe their solution is so universal that you must buy it, regardless of whether or not you need it. And here's the irony. This approach is not just annoying for the recipient, it's ineffective for the seller. The insurance broker who messaged me didn't know that 100% of my clients need professional liability policies. All of my clients are consultants who need errors and omissions coverage. If he had spent just 5 minutes researching what I do, he could have approached me with valuable information specifically relevant to my network. He missed an opportunity to potentially issue $10,000 or $30,000 worth of premiums because he was too focused on pitching his thing rather than understanding my world. So, if we know this approach doesn't work, how do you properly approach potential clients, especially through social media? The best way is to start genuine conversation by taking a real interest in that person. Not because you're looking at them as your next client, but because you authentically see them as a human being and you have a genuine interest in supporting human beings in their success. Start by looking at their content. What have they published? Can you thoughtfully comment on something they've shared and give them a hand with the algorithm? The best introduction happens through comments on their content. Did they just release a podcast or a TED Talk or a blog post or something else? Did you listen to it? Did you understand what they're saying? Have you reviewed the comments that they've made on other people's posts? If they have a long name, for example, start by looking at how others refer to them. If their name is Rosalie, but you see everyone calls them Rose, then say, "Hey, I see people call you Rose. Is that the best way to address you?" These small details matter because they show you're paying attention. When you spend just a few minutes learning about someone before reaching out, it signals that they matter to you, that you care enough to understand what they're about. It shows them they're not just another potential client on your list. So let's revisit that insurance broker example. Imagine if he had reached out like this instead. "Hey Mel, I've been following your content and I see you work a lot with entrepreneurs and consultants. I'm curious, what difficulties have they encountered in getting errors and omissions policies in place? I specialize in these types of policies. I want to find the best coverage for people like your clients. Do you have any thoughts? With this approach, I would immediately think this person took the time to look at what I do. I might even refer him to my clients because he demonstrated genuine interest in solving a real problem they have. That simple shift in approach could have made the difference between being ignored and potentially securing multiple clients. Let me walk you through another example of how this works. I have a client who helps small business owners set up their technology. When she was starting out, I recommended she reach out to potential clients by asking thoughtful questions with the only purpose of really understanding their perspective. Okay, something like this. I'm looking to understand some of the biggest challenges small businesses are facing with technology. Do you have a minute for a call? Or would you mind sharing your thoughts on what you find are the most overwhelming parts of getting new technology set up in your business? I'm doing some research and I want to get some perspective from people who are innovating in their business. Instead, she reached out saying, I'm building a business focused on technology. Could we jump on a call so you can tell me about what your challenges are? Do you see the difference? The second approach essentially says, I have a hidden agenda. This is a sales call. While the first approach seeks to understand their world. The results speak for themselves. When she finally shifted to the first approach, something remarkable happened. People opened up. In fact, I do these calls myself. And I can't tell you how many times people have actually cried during these exploratory calls because I've been the first person to genuinely listen to them in years. Think about that for a moment. People are so starved for genuine connection and understanding that they become emotional when someone finally pays attention to their challenges, their thoughts, their concerns. Most people in business feel ignored or unheard. By simply being the person who listens, you instantly stand out. And they will give you information that will help you create better solutions. Perhaps the most powerful realization is this. Maybe you're not the right person to do business with everyone you speak to, and that's okay. Maybe you don't even solve the true problem that they have, or at least not the priority one. I once had a call with a woman in Texas who had 2 teenagers. She was taking care of her mom who had dementia, and she was starting her own business. And so, yes, I had some marketing products that could help her. But I also had a friend in San Antonio who was able to set her up with home-cooked meals delivered to busy moms. So this incredible woman could free up some time on her agenda. That was valuable for her in the connection. Make it about connection, not about immediate sales. It's about adding value to people's lives and building relationships that benefit everyone involved. So, how do you put this into practice? Here's the key points I want you to remember. There's 5 of them. First, never start with a sales pitch. Begin with curiosity about the other person's world. Second, research before reaching out. Spend at least 5 minutes looking at their content, comments, their interests. Third, ask thoughtful questions that demonstrate you care about their perspective. Fourth, listen with the intention to understand, not with the intention to respond or to sell. And fifth, focus on building relationships first, not on making a sale. Sales will follow naturally when the time is right. Take a few minutes right now to draft 5 questions you could ask potential connections that show genuine interest in what they're doing, what they're up to, what they're about. These might be questions about trends in their industry or challenges that they've mentioned in their content, or what they're most excited about in their work right now. So here's your action step. Today, I challenge you to reach out to 5 people with one of those thoughtful questions. No hidden agenda, no sales pitch, just genuine curiosity and a desire to connect. You might be surprised at the doors this opens, not just for potential business, but for meaningful relationships that enrich your life and allow you to enrich theirs. Remember, in a world where everyone is trying to sell something, the person who takes the time to listen and understand stands out. Be that person. The sales will follow when the time is right. I'm Melissa Marchand, helping accomplished professionals build consulting businesses they love. If you know someone who wants to connect with new clients, please share this episode.